take out one banknote and take a look at the fact, you will see 5 languages printed on that note. That is Mongolian, Tibetan, Uyghur, and Zhuang ethnic group language. Of course, there's also the Pinyin. What's fascinating about these languages is that they represent 4 major routes for language transmission. Nowadays, they are pronounced and written in different ways, but they came from a common ancestor called the Sinai script. This language came from the west end of Asia and reached all the way to the east end of Asia, with the Mongolians representing the northern route, the Uyghur representing the middle route, and the Tibetan representing the southern route. Now, these 3 languages all came from land. The Zhuang ethnic group language is quite special because it's using the 26 Latin letters, but this language is fairly new. It's only created in the 1982. We'll get to that in a bit. At the place, which is now the border of the Uzbekistan and Tajikistan, lived a group of people called the Sogdians. The Sogdians are really good at commerce, so they were trading with the Chinese, with the Indians, with the Mongolians, and the Persians, with the Turks and the Uyghurs. Among them, the ancient Chinese, the ancient Indians, and the Persians, they already had their developed writing system, but at that time, the Turks and the Uyghurs did not have their own writing system. So based on the Sogdian language, the Uyghur script were created. Around the 7th century AD, the Islamic Arabic culture was really rising. That leads to the Arabic language spread it all the way from Persia, India, Pakistan, through all the oasis cities. The Uyghur language also absorbed lots of words from Arabics. I was sitting at the lunch with a Uyghur friend and a friend from Egypt. They were comparing notes. The pronunciation of some words, especially the nouns, are very similar to each other. Then comes to 840 AD, the Uyghur Khaganate was defeated and destroyed, and the Uyghur people returned to Xinjiang area. This mixture of Uyghur and Arabic language remained in that region, that is the Uyghur nowadays. One of these Uyghur became the prisoners of Genghis Khan. He was a seal keeper. He kept all the seals for stamping. Genghis Khan asked him, your country was destroyed. How come you're still keeping all these seals? What's the point? And he said, all these documents, legal documents and loans, all sorts of agreement has to be sealed to be valid. Genghis Khan realized how important that is to run a country with a written language system. So he asked the seal keeper to teach how to write Uyghur language to his sons and his people in order to record the Mongolian language pronunciation. This is the northern route. Tibetan came from the Brahmi script family. Mind you, this is a big family with lots of branches. Countries that were deeply influenced by Indian Buddhism, Burma, Thailand, Cambodia, all these countries, their language is part or a branch of the Brahmi script, including the language of the Thai ethnic group in China. Around the same time, the Islamic and Arabic culture rising, the greatest Tibetan leader, Songtsen Gampo, united the plateau of the Tibetan and the Qinghai. He realized it's very important to have their own language, so he actually sent some people to go over to India and learn their language. Now, this is a big drop in altitude from 4,000 meters all the way to the South Asia, where it's extremely hot. The legend has it, one person died from the heat, but one made it and came back. His name is Tomin Sambota. He overcame all the difficulties and came back to Tibet with his study. He created the Tibetan alphabets. He also translated all the Buddha scriptures from Sanskrit to Tibetan letters. Songtsen Gampo personally studied from him and encourages people to study this language as well. That language remained until today, and that is the south route of the language transmission. Now comes to the youngest language in China, the Zhuang language. Now, the Zhuang language is not a young language by itself, it's quite ancient, but we're using this song dip system. Lots of Zhuang people were literate to Chinese characters, so they use thousands of Chinese characters to record the sound of the Zhuang language. But the song dip had a few downsides. One, it's not easy to recognize so many characters, so to bump up the literacy is quite difficult. Two, the Zhuang language is a phonetic language, but the Chinese character is not phonetic based. So you have very limited syllables, and you are not able to necessarily finding a coordinate character with a syllable in Zhuang language. So in the 1950s, they introduced a new system that is using Latin letters, the IPA, which is the International Phonetic Alphabets, and they borrow some letters from the Cyrillic alphabets. But this caused lots of difficulties to type it. So finally, in the year 1982, they decided to only use 26 Latin letters to record the sound of the Zhuang language, which is what you see on the banknote. The Zhuang language usually has consonants at the end of the word. It's only representing the tones. Being a phonetic language, the Zhuang language still is a tonal language, same as Mandarin. Thank you so much for watching this. I hope you enjoyed it. See ya!